welcome. Today is a very important day, and Rita and I, we decided that we are going to come out and we're going to do something different. And today we would normally do a presentation of the investments, but we want to actually just cover in some investments by having you also coming in and have a conversation with us online whilst we are on here online. So wherever you're watching us from, either from YouTube, either from Facebook, maybe from our homepage as well. Some of you are watching us from there. Just add in the comments there. In between myself and Rita, we're going to actually have a point of discussion. We're going to have a point of discussion around your comment, around your question. But particularly today, it is the 22nd of June. And as it is the 22nd of June, the Section 12J is coming to an end. The more I speak to people, the more I realize that even though we do have 3-4 days to go, there's quite a lot of people that actually don't understand what this is. I spoke to Nhlanhla this afternoon, and Nhlanhla says to me, TJ, I want to invest, but I don't have 500,000. And how does it work? And I said, what do you want to invest in, Nhlanhla? And she says to me, she would like to invest in the Section 12J. And I said, but it's not 500,000, minimum is 50,000. And she says, but I heard you saying 500,000. And I thought, well, let us have a question and answer today. We will answer your questions, but over and above that, I am also just going to start and stop into a presentation. So I'm going to start, I'll jump on into a presentation. Rita and I will talk about it. It's not a presentation as you are accustomed to. It will be a presentation in the terms of we want you to see what we're talking about, and then we will have a discussion around that. So good stuff. I'm trusting that we can start, and I'm going to start already by sharing my screen so that we can go into that and have the conversations more entirely around some of these investments that we want to do. Right. If you have ever made an investment at all, just let me know what have you invested in before. Just tell me there in the comments whilst we are going ahead with the presentation. It is our last time to be presenting anything around the Section 12J. As you know, this thing has come to an end, so we are not going to be doing that. Right, so you can see my presentation there, and you can see myself and Rita at the bottom, and I'm going to present. So if you don't know who we are M5 Property Addicts, and we are Section 12J, but the Section 12J is coming to an end. Rita and I, we just didn't start off by, being property investors and talking about property. We actually started off working. Those are some of the companies that we worked with, a very limited space, but we worked for many companies more than that. And on top of that, recently we got featured in a magazine that is called the Real Estate Investor Magazine. And if you haven't read that article, we're going to give you a link where you can literally click on, and then it takes you to the magazine itself. And it's a great privilege of us, being showcased on the same magazine that has featured many of our gurus that we look up to, the likes of Donald, Robert, Warren, Christopher, our own, and the guys who are from the Stellenbosch Mafia, Johan, Rupert, and them. All right, good. We are a business. If you've never been here before, we are a business in 5 cities, and the 402 investors have invested with us. I think it's gone up now from 402 from the last time we did this presentation last month. And across board, 320 students that we have, 219 families that we have. So we are definitely a growing business. But over and above that, I want us to talk about the Section 12J. So what is the Section 12J? The National Treasury is involved. SARS is involved. Financial Sector Conduct Authority, they used to be called the Financial Service Board. They are also involved. They created what is called the Section 12J. And out of that, they also created an administrator. And the administrator for the Section 12J, they are called Grovest. and they manage the industry association that looks after everything around the Section 12J. They are the big brother, so to speak. Now, we have around about 3 days that's left to invest in the Section 12J. So I want to stop here kind of like and talk about what is a Section 12J. Right, so it's a normal company where you can come in and buy shares. A share is 1,000 Rand, but this is our Section 12J. But over and above that, you get a share certificate. So does it mean that you can buy one share for 1,000 Rand? No. It basically means that we are starting investments from 50,000 Rand. 50,000 Rand. If you're investing cash, and we are not the only Section 12J out there. There's plenty Section 12Js. But I think we are one of the few Section 12Js that are playing in the property space. What do you get? Share certificate, tax certificate, dividends that are going to be paid out. But for you to participate on the Section 12J, you literally have 3 days left. Now, I just wanted us to jump into what have you been reading? So some of you have been reading, and that's why you're sitting on the sideline. You're thinking that some of these things are a scam. I pulled this out of a newspaper article, and basically they were saying here, Section 12J, is it a Ponzi? Are these Ponzi deals? I'm sure we all know Ponzi deals. The name Ponzi was actually coiled from a guy called Ponzi, his last name was. Could this be a pyramid scheme where, you know, people come through, they invest on top of that? But people are not so sure of what this is, you know. But basically what this is, it's a company that came by in 2009. That's the fact. So if you're hearing this for the first time and you're wondering where have you been, it's okay, because we also didn't know when we were employees back in 2009. And it allows investors to deduct a full amount invested. So your full amount of money, you invest 100,000, that 100,000 that you're going to be investing, a portion of it is tax deductible based on your tax bracket. So there's a company that's called Anova. Anova, they are kind of like much bigger than us. And one of the guys called Andrew Friedman, he was actually interviewed here. I want to kind of like stop here and jump onto having a conversation with Reta here. And Reta, some of the conversations that's been coming up, you and me, we've been in the property space for a while. And Ponzi schemes, all sorts of names, people have come through onto our website, onto YouTube, onto our Facebook, and they've literally labeled us scammers and things like that. And these things are happening below our nose. What's your view on a section 12 from when you was employed? Because me and you, this thing was happening when we was employed. Even when we started doing property on a serious note, we didn't know about this thing. What's your view? And yeah, what's your feedback?
You know, it's very sad that now that SARS has stopped this thing, that everybody that has always been playing in the space is now advertising and educating people on what is a 12J and what it can do for you. And I wish that, you know, when I was employed and I was working, that I knew that they did this back then already in terms of the knowledge and the advertisement and the awareness, just bringing that awareness to people that I knew about it. You know, and I've heard about it. It's not always, but like 2 years ago, whatever, I heard about it. But I always thought, well, you need so much money. I don't have that money anyway. I need to pay my, you know, my big thing always is my kids' school fees because they make me bankrupt, those three. So
you need a lot of money. It's factually correct.
Yeah.
When it started off, they were only taking in $1 million as entry level.
Yeah. So, you know, and now that you get people like us coming in with those lower amounts, I mean, I'm thinking like flip. If I just took all this money that I took from my bonus at the end of the year, and I gave it straight like that. Come 1 Jan, I'm like, school, you are paid off for the rest of the year, because I don't even want to think about school fees anymore. And I was just so happy to get rid of that, right? But had I put that money into a 12J, the 12J would have, but with the money that I was going to generate through my investment, that would have paid those school fees monthly anyway, right? Or on a quarterly basis, or whatever it is. And I would still have my bonus at the end of all of that. And I'm like, why didn't I know more about it? But it blows your mind, and it's difficult for people to understand if you don't go out there and do your own research. And like you say, the comments on Facebook has been, watch out, this is a scam. And it's sad because now it's people discouraging other people that are curious, that want to explore and want to be part of something. Why don't they just go do their own research? It's not just us. It's everywhere. There's 204 of these Section 12J companies. So it's like, guys, come on. I understand you have to be careful, and you have to. It's your money. You worked hard for it, but do your research.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I don't, you know me, I've never really been an advocate of defending ourselves. I actually don't want to, because I think the work that we're doing with just about 400 investors, we are good with those 400 investors. Those that think of us as scammers, it's okay. They can think that. They are going to be missing the bus in terms of what we are doing. But we take also immense time to research, to learn everything else that we are doing, to partner up with the right people. And me and you, we left our jobs that we were being paid handsomely to now go on this journey where we are now doing this full time. And out of that is an additional 71 employees that has been employed within our business. And this is one of the ethos of the Section 12J: employment, employment, employment. I mean, you were, between me and you jumped off quite late. I mean, did you think that we could be at this level now, and in terms of us where we are now as a business?
I think when you compare us to bigger companies, and these guys have been around for a long time, and they probably, a lot of cases, they came from an environment, or from the same industry at least. So by working in a corporate company as a IT consultant for like 20 years, to then jump out of that and learn a whole new industry, it's almost like you're learning a new language, new skills. It's like you're starting over from even before you went to university, because you never learned any of this at university either. And then the other day I was putting all of the guys, my team members, our employees, I was putting all their details on a spreadsheet, and I was like, wow, I can't believe that we have all of these guys now that's looking up to us to not be those people we didn't like to work for, and seeing it from the other side is it's quite a mind shifting feeling, I must say.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump on back to the presentation, and on the presentation here, it speaks about, this is public information, stuff that you guys can, Google and read about. And I'm gonna move on. The Business Insider, it's a well-renowned newspaper. It's online, heavily online now. And on the 24th of February, I think it was on the 23rd actually, when the Minister of Finance, he actually said, the Section 12J is coming to an end, and they're not going to continue that. At this time, Rita, me and you, we didn't have the Section 12J. we were still having conversations with Joy at this time. And I
Yeah.
remember vividly, I was driving down, we had exchanged some contracts and things like that. We were at the peak of discussions having with Joy as our fund manager. And when this announcement came up, I think it shattered me together. I remember I was driving from the strip mall close to us, and I was coming home, and you said to me, "So what now?"
Yeah.
And I didn't have a solution for it, and neither did you have a solution for it. Right?
I think
but we were just asking ourselves the question to say, we are very much close by to get the Section 12J, and we're thinking this is a home run for our investors. And now the minister says it can't continue. And what now? We asked ourselves many questions. Me and you, we had many questions that we couldn't answer ourselves. And later on, we called Joe, and Joe didn't have the answers himself. Because it came as a surprise, right?
Everybody, yeah.
Yeah. But the reality is that the Section 12J is still here. It's going to continue, but it's coming to an end. What's your view, or what's your understanding now, Rita, in terms of the Section 12J coming to an end? What does it mean for the guy who is holding their 100,000 right now at home, and because of the fact that the Section 12J is closing, or someone else who is in Secunda and they are sitting on 500,000 and they're like, I think I can do a loan, but this thing is already closing down, so why should I jump into it? I think it's been received with mixed perception. What are the effects? What's going to happen to the Section 12J? What's going to happen to people that are investing in it? Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely it's still, you can't just, the only difference, the fund will continue. You have to still comply to all the regulations and the reporting and the audit. Everything stays there. The only difference is that you cannot get your tax back on that money if you invest after the 30th of June. So if your tax bracket was 45% as a top earning individual, if you invested a million rand, 450,000 rands is gone. It's like you paid it and you're never seeing that money. It's gone to SARS and is there forever now. That money is gone. So it's unfortunate, nothing we can do about it. As much as we like to always say to people, it's fine, we'll squeeze you in. In this instance, we can't. It's not our deadline. It is like the elections, they come when they come, and you just have to be there. If you don't pitch, you're not going to vote. If you don't invest, you're not going to get your tax back. That's the bottom line.
Okay, cool. So at the end of the day, the Section 12J will still continue. The benefits of it will fall away, and it will continue as normal. So ladies and gentlemen, I almost want to say here, it is our goal, myself and Rita, that by the end of this session, you can still invest in the Section 12J. There is 3 days that's left, and you can still invest in the Section 12J. And that's our goal at the end of the day. And this is why we're having this session, so that you can understand what you are investing into. But I'm going to go into the presentation again, so we all understand what that means. But why are we investing in properties? This is an article that came out in the Global Property Guide. And basically they were saying that it's a long article, and it shows you the trends of real estate across different countries and things like that. You can Google it if you want, Global Property Guide. And it actually says to us that property has rose a whooping 57%. And this was obviously before inflation within that period. This is almost like a 10-year period. This report came out last year. And I thought, let me include it here. This is the reason why we're investing in properties. It's a secured asset, but over and above that, it's also growing. This is at a national level. However, at a national level, we have some areas that are on the decline, some areas that are really shooting up. We try to always be in the areas that are shooting up. So what you're seeing there could be a little bit high. Rita, you've been the managing director of our business that's called My Student House. Is student accommodation still a golden opportunity? We've had many stories happening, but is it still a good opportunity to invest in?
Definitely, absolutely. I'm very excited about student accommodation and the changes that's happening and where we're going to. We, you know, I remember 27th of March last year, and we were shutting down, and it's like, oh, all the students are going home, and then it was like everybody's on online learning, and I was worried because it's like, are they ever going to come back, or are they now chilling at home? And NASFA said, and the university said that they're going to give them laptops and they're giving them data so that they can study. And I was very worried. I was like, yo, these students are never coming back. And now there goes all of this properties and business that I created down the drain. But you know what? I kid you not, we go from level 5 to level 4. Each and every student started contacting us saying, oh, we're in level 4 now, we're coming back. I said, whoa. Let me just understand what's the rules and the laws. Why do you guys want to come back? And, you know, and it turns out that even though they get those, even though they had or they didn't have laptops at that point in time, the data doesn't work in the rural areas where some of these kids are from. I mean, think about it. Even where I'm sitting in my study, I cannot connect my computer, and I'm in the middle of Cape Town, right? But my cell phone reception, my LTE, whatever you call it won't connect onto a network where I'm sitting. And I'm in the middle of town. So those guys don't have access to fiber and all of that. So they are literally sitting right now in my house on online learning. And therefore, the universities have gone down from double rooms to single rooms only, and it's pushing all of those students into the private accommodation market, which is where we're playing. And I've just seen floods of students coming back, still coming back, learning from home, my home, and having to go into campus once, twice, 3 times a week. But they need that interaction and those touch points with the university to really pass and get good grades. So the accommodation space there is not going to go away anytime soon.
Awesome. I mean, you're forgetting to mention that there's probably, other universities that have been opened within this period, 2, 3.
The rooms that's been open.
No,
I'm looking at the questions here, and I'm trying to answer you and the questions at the same time.
Yeah. I'm talking about universities that are being opened. You know, the Minister of Higher Education is still opening other universities.
Oh, yeah, totally. You know, they're still busy building universities. They are still growing those institutions. So we're all getting more kids, right? We're not stopping having babies, and that's the reality. And if we think about, you know what, the other thing is also, it's so difficult for a student these days to just go from a normal degree straight into a job. If you look at what happened in India, right? In India, they had so many people that are all clever. They all have, and it's obviously percentages and statistics, right? But they had a good, huge volume of people that went through university. And when I worked at Accenture, all my juniors on the project had 3 or 4 degrees. Why? Because they had to get more degrees to get into the good companies to get just a normal job, not even a fancy job. And I think we're definitely getting to a point where one degree, one qualification it doesn't make you stand out above everybody else in the job market right now. And I think we're going to see over time, you're going to see these kids getting their first degree and then having to continue and get more qualifications to stand out and get an actual job. I already have 2 or 3 students like that in my houses right now, who's busy with their second or third degree even.
You're speaking of that. When I was working out in Ghana in Africa, one of my branch managers had a doctorate. Right. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna jump back into the presentation, and within this presentation, you wanna jump onto some of those questions there that are there coming up. And whilst I am talking there, so the question was, are there still opportunities? And I'm just gonna walk you through some of the projects that we have done. So all the money that's going to come in, your investment is going to come in into projects like this. This is a 36-bed that we got not so long ago. It's got a 34% yield on it. That's project number 1. This is a 36-bed that we've got. Another project, which is a 25-bed, 25% yield. Another student accommodation, 17 beds, a 35% yield. Another project that we've got, 18 beds, and this is phase 1 of this project. You have been seeing where it says phase 1, it actually basically means that there's another phase. So it's either the project can go up, or we can build more at the back, or we can do a big on development on it. But all of these projects are projects that we've got. So the question is, how do you get involved? This is about the Section 12J. How do you get involved? Simply put, you've got an opportunity to be in the Section 12J within the next 3 days. Why am I saying the next 3 days? We have until Friday to get all of your paperwork in. If you don't bring in all of your paperwork in, next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's totally closed. But it takes us a bit of time. It takes us maybe a day to send you the paperwork, another day for you to read through the contract and send it back. For some people, they're quite fast, right? They do it like, within the next 2 hours, it's done. But then the money needs to come through to us. We need to send you the certificates and things like that. So at average, we have seen that it literally takes us 2 days to compile all of your paperwork, right? So by Friday, all of your paperwork needs to be in, including your money as well. So we really are on a tight position here. My team is going to be working throughout over the weekend to make sure that we're not leaving anyone behind. There is a link in the comments wherever you're watching us from, and that link, what you just basically need to do is fill in the application form and stipulate how much money you want to invest. So there's a cash option. What is a cash option? You can invest a minimum of 50,000 and a maximum of 2.5 million, right? That's the cash option. No any other questions asked. You got your 500,000, boom. You got your 2.5 million, boom. We go ahead with the paperwork, you fill it in within this specified 3 days. Over and above of that, we've got a financing option. So finance option is that you need to be investing a minimum of 500,000. You need to be investing a minimum of 500,000 for you to qualify on the finance option. This is for people that are, like big salespeople, people that run their own practices, people that are expecting huge sums of money throughout. So basically, what's going to happen? You invest on a finance option, 2.5 million. It's an example that I'm giving you, and we need a minimum of 250,000. So your minimum of 250,000, poof, it's in. But imagine now, only the 2.5 million, 45% of that, which is just above R1 million, you're going to get that from SARS. And now the difference of that is what you are going to pay in. So if you can pay that in within the next period of, let's say, a year to 4 years, then we want to speak to you. When you send in the application form, you just need to put in 2.5 million or whatever amount that you want to put in that you're going to be. And then we will tailor make the contract around your cash flows. We will tailor make your money around your cash flows. In return, what are you going to be getting? In return, your tax bracket, whatever that you're going to be investing in, whatever capital that you're going to invest in, you will get a portion of that money back based on your tax bracket. So if your tax bracket is 30%, you invest 100,000, 30% of that is coming back. If your tax bracket is 45%, 45% of that is coming back to you. When does it come back? It's a tax refund. There's a dependency. You need to submit your tax paperwork. So you file it in with e-filing. And in July, August, whenever you do that, the tax season, we all know it opens up then. And then you will get your tax refund. That's July 2022. However, the fund is going to be at work. So on the fund itself, you're going to be getting a 7.5, but that 7.5 is based on the 2021 rental income. When 2022 kicks in, we all know rental increases, so will your payouts be increasing. Your return is going to grow, right? But I also want to stress that some of these properties we are buying, they've got a bigger equity. You are going to benefit of that. The 7.5 doesn't speak to that. Some of these properties are going to grow in terms of appreciation. That 7.5 doesn't speak to that. So you see that as we go, your money in a radius of about 5 years, if you're on a 45%, you are hitting just close to rounding off above 80% on your return on investment with us. If you're a business, we welcome you as well. You can fund this by your business. As an individual or as a trust, you can do this. These are real people. This picture was taken in a couple of weeks ago. Rita was on site and she went out to check out these pictures. But here's another benefit. And this benefit, you can swap your dividends with having a nominated child stay in one of our properties. It can be your child, it can be an auntie's child, your cousin, your brother, your cousin brother, whoever it is, it doesn't matter. Now, for some people, they don't want to invest with us for a longer term. And longer term just basically means that from a SARS perspective, you need to have your money logged in for a minimum of 5 years. So that's the term of investment. A minimum of 5 years, you need to be with the investment. You can withdraw, however, you're now going to be owing SARS on the benefit that they have given you. But coming back to the point that I've just mentioned now, which is you can have the benefit of nominating a child in return of the dividends. It basically means that that child, whether you are donating, whether it is your child, they come in to stay at the property. And that's a huge benefit. So what is the next steps for you? In the links, you fill in the application form. We'll vet you out within the next day or so. You get approved. The paperwork gets sent out to you. You will pay in your funds, and from there, the D-day for closing all of this is Friday. I think we've been saying Friday for a long time, but this is the D-day. There is no any other like this. So I want to stop here. Rita, I almost want to speak to the point of, people have been saving their money at different banks. And they've been getting a 4%. Me and you, we know this. Because from time to time we are at those banks trying to see what kind of products are there. And basically, the other day someone sent us a contract for 4%, isn't it, from the other bank? We won't mention which bank is from.
I was shocked. I actually, you read all of these on the website. So I did a video not long ago, and I did a YouTube video, and I looked at what do the different banks offer, and I was putting it out there, and they promise you all of these great returns, and they have there on the website 8%, 7%, all of that stuff. And then I get this form. So this lady was investing with us, and she referred a friend, and the friend said, sorry, but I just locked in my money for 12 months. Unfortunately, I can't get it out now. And she sent us the papers, the actual bank papers, the contract that she signed for that money to go into this 12 months fixed deposit thing that she took. 4.4%. I was like, why would you invest your money for 4.4%? And I can't believe that the banks can, it just feels like robbery to me. 4.4%. It's like ridiculous.
So what is 4.4%? So I want to speak to that 4.4%, right? Because and wherever you are, if you can go to Stats SA. Stats SA, I think they're really public right now. They've always been public. And basically they say the inflation rate as we know it right now, this is the inflation rate. There you go.
What?
That's the
So they are basically offering inflation. So for a whole year, you're getting nothing.
but here's the thing, people don't know this.
Oh.
And yet the Stats SA, this is Stats SA. This is not TJ who came up with this slide. It's literally, just Google that. Google South Africa annual consumer price inflation. Google it.
How cheeky are they? They are so cheeky, making it exactly 4.4%. Like, really?
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? They know that people, I don't know whether they're checking or what, I don't know. But anyway, let's just go to the questions here. There's some questions that came through. Hloni here, she asked, this is a comment, I think, not really a question. So Hloni is saying, that's the problem with Facebook. Everything is regarded as a scam based on previous experiences. That's true. But some of us have done our research, and so far, to be one of your investors, thank you very much for investing with us, Hloni. It's been a great pleasure. I've actually met Hloni before. She goes with another name, not Hloni, though. I think Rebecca it is. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. And then there is someone else here, Devin. In needs investors for a property, for a deal, please.
I will drop Devin. No, Devin, what you can do is you can submit your property details and we will look at it. I will send you a link in the chat there that you can submit your property on.
Awesome stuff. Going through with all the questions here.
Yeah, the sourcing division.
Sure. Nomalanga says, do we still have the options of using the credit score for the investment? Ooh, yeah. It's not really the Section 12J, Nomalanga, but yes, you do have that option. Let's see whether Reta has that link. She will have to make magic to make that link available for Nomalanga. Right, but I know she can make magic on it. We do need you to have a minimum qualification, Nomalanga, of around about 2.5 million. But let us know and we will talk to you about that, whatever you qualify on. Jamie says, what is the call to action? I need you to invest in our property on our Section 12J, Jamie. For a minimum, for you, Jamie, a minimum of 100,000. Everyone else is 50. So we need your money so that we can go to work. I like your name, by the way, Jimmy Cox. It sounds cool. He's got a follow-up question here. Shame, but the government needs our money. It is true, the government needs our money. Let's see here. Right.
But I say that's exactly why you have to invest in the J12, because remember, when you invest in that, you create jobs, which means that you're creating more taxpayers. Otherwise, those people won't be paying tax. So that's why the government wants people to be educated and have jobs, so that they have people that can pay tax to them. It's pointless just having one person, Rita, paying tax. Now Rita is giving jobs to 40 other people through the 12J. Give Rita her one person tax back. She's giving me 40 people that's going to pay tax. Isn't that a good deal for them?
Sounds like a pyramid scheme here to me, but All right. Jamie says, is the fund to invest in student accommodation? Yes, Jamie. So all of our deals, or should I say in the section 12J, we generally just do student accommodation. I've got someone else here also who's also asked another question. Marie Julienne says, can South Africans who are living abroad and do not pay taxes in South Africa? Ooh, why are you not paying taxes in South Africa? You need to double check there what the text is saying about people living abroad before you put it out there in the public. Marie, can you invest? Yes, you can. On a serious note, you can invest, and please do fill in on the application form. We will reach out to you with all the paperwork that you need. Okay. And then there is someone else, I think that's the last comment, is Section 12J paying 17% per annum. Yes and no. I just want to go back to that slide so that I can really show you how it is calculated. It is a two-part calculation. So I just want to make sure that you understand it 100%. Okay, you understand it 100%. Okay, good. And when we are saying 12%, 17%, what do we actually mean? So this is the slide for the returns, right? This is the slide for the returns. I am answering the questions there of the lady who has asked. So is the section 12J giving me 17%? Okay, good. Right, if I go through here, this is the amount of monies or the percentages return on investments that you're going to be getting throughout the period of your investment. Remember, this is a 5-year investment, all right? Now, step number one is that you need to check, you as the individual needs to check here, what is your tax bracket, okay? If your tax bracket is 45%, it means that in your first year, by July 2022, you are going to get 45%. Throughout the year of 2022, in year number 1, we call this year number 0, where you get the SARS rebate. And number 2, 3, 4, and 5 years, you're getting a 7.5% from us, from the fund. However, if you then calculate the entire return of investment from the SARS money all the way to here on year number 5, it means that your return on investment is, your money has grown 83%. Your money has grown 83%. If you then calculate that on an average year on year, it does mean that it is 17% year on year. If your tax bracket is then lower than that, you start moving away from 17% to 16 to 14, and the lowest that you can ever earn is 11% across board. So there's a portion that you're getting in year 0, which we are calling July 2022. That money doesn't come from the fund, it comes from SARS. And then there's a second portion of income that then comes through from the fund itself, gets paid out in a period of 5 years. However, we're not limiting it into 5 years. You can be investing with us for a longer period, more than 5 years. I hope that makes sense. All right. Okay. There's a question that just came through here from service support. I like you, my guy, whoever your name is, service support. You need some service up in here. What happens after 5 years? Does the section 12J stop, or does it continue? As a fund, we are going to continue. We will continue to be in business. However, the people, you have the option to withdraw your money if you would like to, or to, it's not really withdrawing your money, it's selling your shares, right? Because remember, you get shares here. So you can sell your shares if you want. Who will buy your shares? The fund itself can buy the shares from you. That's option 1. And then other people that are here that are also going to join, they can also buy your shares. Or we can sell to the public, right? But I don't think that we'll ever get through to the point of selling to the public. We like our funds. We are putting great effort in making sure that we are getting good returns and getting to good projects, so we will definitely buy it from you. That's
And I think also what people also need to understand is what happens at the end of the 5 years then if they don't want to sell. For us, this is for me. I'm also investing in it personally. I'm investing some of my business money in there as well. For me, this fund is going to be there. I'm going to be in it forever. Must be money for my children's children. This fund must be there, and it can grow as big as it can possibly grow. And I'm still going to earn every single year. I'm only giving money now once. I'm going in on 2.5 million out of the 2.5 million, physically, my cash, I'm actually over the 5 years, I'm taking the loan option. I'm only going to pay out of my money right now 863,000. The balance of the 2.5 million comes from my dividends, and it comes from my tax on a business, 28% business tax. And at the end of 5 years, I'm going to earn dividends on 2.5 million, but I only paid 8, and I have 2.5 million at the end of 5 years. It's like, what magic is this? It's like 800 turns to 2.5, and I earn my 7.5%. And after that, my 7.5% after that year on year on 2.5 million. Think about that.
Rita, I think this is where people have been getting confused now, calling these things scams and things like that, because in people's heads, they've been accustomed to be working hard for money, not the other way around, where money is working hard for them. Because for me, this level here is money really working extremely hard. Now imagine if you don't need that money, Rita, in 5 years. And that money now can now go in and buy you something else. And maybe in the next 10 years, that's when you're only going to need the money. That's like money for James for years. And you're not even working for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome stuff. So I'm going to wrap it up. Any closing comments there, Rita? This is the finale. Besides being the finale, it is also, the show must continue with those that are joining us.
I'm excited. I'm seeing the money coming in, and guys, just so that you know already, this fund isn't coming empty. There's already one property that we bought in the fund. It's operating. I also already received 2 payments from the Potchefstroom University. The money is coming in. I can see it. We're fighting with the students. We're doing videos about how we're fighting with them. So it's there. It's happening already. The second property is in the bag. We're busy with that one. As soon as everybody's money has come in on the 30th, we're paying over the money. Second property done. So, and after that, we've identified more, but now it's just about closing them and progressing and so on. And for me to already have 2 operating houses with money coming in, and the fundraising isn't even closed, it's not pie in the sky. You can already go and visit your house even before you invest or you get any money from it.
Nomalanga is asking the question, can I start with 50 and later add more in my investments? The answer is yes. However, all of that money that you need to be investing in for you to get the heavy tax benefit, all of the money needs to come in before the 30th of June. But if it's not coming in before the 3rd of June, what will happen is that your money is going to be split into 2. The first money, which is the 50,000, will have the benefit of the tax. So you're going to get a refund from your tax on your 50,000, but the additional money, it will not have the tax benefit. And that's what it basically means. So if you invest, let's say, 50,000 in the next 3 days, bingo, you're going to get whatever that is applicable to you in terms of taxes. Your next 1 million investment, right? That is not going to get a tax rebate. That's what it basically means. I hope that makes sense. Later, your closing comments. I said it. And I said it that the show will continue. We're going ahead. In a nutshell, dude, if we're to think about this now, right? we have had the Section 12J for 2 months.
Mm.
And we have done cool things. Thank you for everyone else who's invested with us so far. Your money has gone to work. We've started seeing the proceeds. Rita have just given you some of the things that we've done. If it was our choice, we would continue with this. But it's not. It's Minister Tito Mbowene's choice, so it's going to close down. But we will find another way for the show to continue with more vigor, and bring in more projects. Your closing comments before we go to sleep.
I think that if you're on the fence about investing,
Yeah,
and you're not sure about us, and that M5 that you want to do students, but you still want to invest, if you're interested in 12J at all, get in. Whether it's with us, if we are not the right company for you, that's also fine. There are 204 other companies out there. Get in. Just get yourself in. You're not going to regret it. Whether it's with us, whether it's with someone else, doesn't matter. Do this for yourself.
Yeah, the principles are the same.
Yeah, just do it for yourself. Get in.
Yeah. Jamie is asking the question here, how do you guarantee a 7.5 when the fund is still new?
We already have properties. It's new, but the properties are there. The money's coming in. I received money from for the property from twice already from the University of Potchefstroom. It's there. It's running.
Yeah. Good. Amazing stuff that's happening. So let's continue. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to say from M5 Property Addicts, today we never showed everyone else behind the M5 Property Addicts. You already know us, I think, by now. So from anyone else who is either working at M5 Property Addicts, either a partner at M5 Property Addicts, Joe, Rita, and everyone else whom you've been talking to all of you guys who've been receiving phone calls from us, from our team, Lenetu, Ubuntu, Tseko, Melissa, I've got everyone, right? Joe, and I just want to say to you guys, thank you very much for investing with us. That's number one. Number two, from an M5 perspective, how we are going to do the real starting of the work, right? It has started already, we've been doing the work, but now because of the fund is obviously closing down. On Friday, what is the next step, Rita? Everyone has now invested by Friday. The next step is the certificates that still needs to be issued out to the different people. So everyone who is investing at the moment, you're signing an agreement and your money is coming through to us, but no one has received their certificates so far. And those certificates needs to be distributed soon after the 30th of June. Now, my question to you, Rita, is what is the next step so that people know exactly what to expect, when to get what? So it's around the shares and it's about their next income. When is the mola? Give me the mola.
So the next money will be so obviously you have to first get your tax certificate. So, like if you're in a medical aid, the medical aid issues you with a certificate that you hand in with your tax return. So we're going to issue you with the same certificate. It might look different, but it's the same purpose. You're going to hand that in with your tax certificate. And you have to, it's your job, we can't do that for you. It's your job to submit your tax return. And, we always dread it and we push it out as long as we can. Next year, you're just, you're going to be so excited because you're going to get all this money back. So you have to do your taxes early next year. As soon as the tax season opens for next year, you have to submit it. so that you can get that money back. And it's going to be, depending how quick you are, anytime between June and September, you'll get the money from SARS. I can't control how quickly you complete your details there and submit it. But I can control how quickly we give you the tax certificate that you will have long before you need to submit. So it's your job to submit and make sure you get that part. And then the first monies from the fund from our side will be in June next year.
I just had a thought, Rita. The tax returns, the tax certificate, I think we should issue them from DocuSign. Because people are going to come back to us and say, I want to submit now, but I have lost my tax certificate. So if we issue them in DocuSign, the contract is in DocuSign, your share certificate is in DocuSign, and your tax certificate is in DocuSign. So which basically means that even if they do come back to us, we just need to remind them of their email address and their password that they should know, and they can check in DocuSign.
Yeah, everything will be there.
Amazing stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been great. Thank you very much for investing with us on the Section 12J. M5 is still around. There's other initiatives that are going to come in, and we thank you for the support. We're looking forward to doing more business with you. Good night and God bless. Goodbye.
Bye.